welcome to this video, and it was a challenge to pick 10 images from 2022. We did start off by getting down to 50, and I sat there with Helen with a laptop and a hard drive. We then got it down to 5, but then we was missing out images that we really liked, so we finally got it back up to 10. And as we were going through these images, it brought back memories, good and bad, of some of the things that happened as we took these images. And it was quite interesting that an image is not just good to look at, but it can also bring back these interesting memories. So I thought I'll not only share the images, but I'll share any memories that are connected with the actual images. So we'll make a start. These images are in no particular order except for the last one, and the last one is my favourite of last year. So first image, and we're in Scotland and we're at Kilchurn Castle, and this was a very windy day, cold windy day, and the lock that the castle sits on was all the water was disturbed by the high winds, so it was going to be difficult to get a nice reflection shot. But I moved round into this position and I got a really nice foreground pool of water that was reflecting the sky and the cloud, and this was kind of leading you in towards the castle, and the light in this was really nice. Just a little bit of light catching the castle, and the clouds putting the shadow on the mountain, and it's just a nice balanced shot. This really like that one. Next, number 9. We was in Northumberland now, another iconic place, Cockloburn Beach, and I was doing some long exposures, and in this shot I just love the diagonal lines that the rocks are making out towards the sea. Nice long exposure here, and the tide was coming in and starting to cover over the rocks in the background there, and as the wave came in, it brought in this piece of seaweed on the left and positioned it just in the image there, and a few waves later it was pushed past me and it had disappeared. But I like this. I like the long exposure, milky water on the right there. Then in the contrast, you've got the brown sand and the rocks on the left-hand side there. And this was another cold, windy, wet, umbrella day. And Helen really enjoyed this day. That was number 9. Number 8. This was an accident. This shot. I'd planned to go somewhere else and the road was closed, and I turned down towards the Derwent Valley Dams, and I saw a photographer pointing his camera up towards the sky, and I kind of looked back and panicked, parked the car up, got out and took this shot, and this image just looks like there's some sort of spacecraft taking off, having visited the Peak District, and the light was awesome. So this shot is all about the light and the silhouette of the light in those trees just on the hillside there. Really like that, and I like this because it was an accident. It was totally unplanned. It was a headless chicken moment, but what a moment. And the rest of this morning also turned out to be a bit of a headless chicken moment as well. And you may have seen that video. Number 7, this was January, a very, very cold morning on Kerber Edge in the Peak District. Gone out to the sunrise, and this image was the very last composition that I found, and I'd moved in close to this nice pool of water in the bottom of the image there, and I really like the blue reflection of the sky in that pool. I like the green sort of moss moving up from the right of the image, and the foreground ledge, which is taking up most of the image as well. And then we go into the background where you've got Kerber Edge itself, and then Sunstar. We just managed to get a Sunstar. The sun was well up here. As I said, it was the last composition I found, and apart from this morning being very cold, and also I remember a young couple doing Instagram poses just as the sun came up. It's just what you do. This is where my Osmo also fell over and got its first injuries, so it ended up in casualty. So that one's a good memory of that falling over. Okay, number 6, and we're in the Lochen in Scotland, in Glencoe, and I'd finished taking all the shots I wanted to take and filming with the drone, and I was packing my gear up, and Helen walked off, and I caught her up, and she was standing by this tree here, and she took a picture, and I said, oh, let's have a look on your phone. And I looked on the phone, and I thought, that's quite nice. So I got all my kit back out, set up, and I got this shot. I really like this. I just love how the tree branch cuts into the image, forming a diagonal line. And then I like the branches coming off, and particularly the one lower down that's dropping leaves into the water, and it's not actually touching the water, it's just sitting just above the water, and you can see the reflection of it in the bottom of the image. And then you've got the reflection in the Lochen itself, and it's just a really nice balanced shot. 2 or 3 weeks later there would be some really nice autumn colours in this, but it's a long way to go back for that. Okay, on to number 5, still in Scotland, and this, oh, it's great memories of this shot. There was no path to walk to this waterfall. You had to go over boggy ground, and it wasn't easy. It was less easy for Helen because she was making various comments about I wish she'd stayed in the car, but having got there, I was really pleased with this shot. I had to virtually stand in the riverbed to get this shot. The water levels in Scotland when we visited were really low, so I was standing in the riverbed for this one, and I had to go low down as well because the roadside was behind us. Very busy road, lots of lorries and camper vans buzzing up and down, so I had to go low down to hide the road, and I did lose some of the mountain in this shot, but I think I've just about got away with it. So I like the textures in the waterfall, cutting down to the base of the image, 1/8 of a second, which is my preferred shutter speed for waterfalls. I like the colours in the rocks. I like that strip of foliage, and then there's a bit of light on the buckle behind. The sky's not fantastic. I should have probably bracketed this shot to bring some control into that sky, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, fond memories of getting quite a telling off as we walk to this location. I'll use the word telling off because it's more polite. Number 4. Oh, Northumberland, St Mary's Lighthouse, and we was on the way home to visit here, and again, weather conditions here were not good. It was really windy, it was freezing. There was a married couple having the wedding pictures took with the lighthouse in the background, and that poor bride must have been freezing, but I'm pretty sure she's going to have some fantastic memories from the pictures that the photographers were taking. And now we did spend, I'd say, about 3 hours here because I did want to follow the tide out, and Helen got so cold she went back to the car to read a Kindle and left me down there. So I carried on, waited for the tide to go out, and eventually I got this shot, which I was really happy with. We've got the leading line of the causeway taking us out to the lighthouse itself, and we've got another leading line just to the left of that, also taking us out to the lighthouse. On the left of the image we've got the patterns in the sand, nice textures in the sand, and a little pool of water where the tide's gone out and left those patterns. And then finally we've got the reflection of the lighthouse as well, just off centre to the right of the image. The cloud, it's not fantastic, the cloud, but we'll probably get away with it. The rest of the image is really nice, and this well could have been my favourite one, but I did choose another one which will come up in a minute. So on to number 3, and we're in Padley Gorge and in the Peak District. And if somebody said, what's Padley Gorge like, this is an image that would show it off to a T. So in this image we've got some nice autumn leaves in the base of the shot there, wrapping round the green mossy rocks. And then above, the upper half of the image, we've got some gnarly trees. So we've got the main tree from the right coming out. In the middle, sort of off centre to the right, we've got the dancing tree, as it's known there. And then on the left, we've got some more gnarly trees. And at the top of the image, there's a bit of autumn colour as well. And the mist really sets that image off as well. So really like that. Real classic location, Padley Gorge. Number 2, and with Padley Gorge again. As I walked down into Padley Gorge, this was the first composition that I saw, and I really wanted to do some panos in this woodland, and I did. And odd numbers always work in a photograph for some reason. So we've got 3 trees in this pano, and what I like about it is they all seem to link together. They all seem to be holding hands across the image. And the mist, it had to be black and white because there just wasn't any strong colour in the scene. But I really like that, and that's probably the best pano I think I've ever taken. Okay, we're on to my favourite shot of 2022, and I'd invited Helen out for a sunrise shoot in the Peak District. And this particular morning, it was quite cold. It was -5, and when we got to park up near the location, it was also cloaked in fog. So we had a bit of a walk to the where I wanted to take the composition. I'd got my head torch, Helen had got the light on her phone, and the ground was frozen mud, and also on the path there was frozen puddles. So you was walking along trying to keep level on the mud, and then you kind of walked onto, and you slid forward on the frozen puddles. So that was a really fun walk, and lots of expletives were said on this walk. We got to the location, we got to the millstones, and it was the millstones on Stanage Edge that I wanted to photograph within the sunrise. And as you can see here, the conditions were not sunny. In fact, we didn't think we was going to see the sun at all. However, eventually the sun did break through, and it was a little disc of light at first, and then the fog started to intensify the light, the sunlight, and we got a real giant sun appeared from within the fog, and that cast a real massive piece of light onto the landscape, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We're probably not going to witness that again, I don't think. I'd love to go out in these conditions again, and apparently it's something that fog does do. It does intensify the light or the sunlight if the sun's breaking up behind it. But that was a really amazing experience. People that were walking by were also slipping as well, so it wasn't just us slipping on the ground, and it was a great memory to hold. And an even better memory was later on, because we had a fantastic breakfast in Rowsley. I'll put the details up because I can't remember where it was. It was quite an expensive breakfast because Helen paid, I'm sure she paid, but it was very tasty, but well worth that that extra payment. And after such a cold, treacherous morning, we really enjoyed that breakfast. So that's my top 10 favourite images and some memories thrown in as well. Let's go to the second part of this video now, which is what's in my camera bag for 2023. Okay, well, I did film that footage for what's in my camera bag in 2023, but I wasn't happy with it. So what I'm going to do when I eventually get out in 2023, I'm going to tag that into that first video, and I think by doing that it'll make more sense to explain what's in my bag. I have got a new camera bag for Christmas, thank you Helen, and yeah, the context of it will be clearer if I'm out there in a location rather than in my kitchen. So I hope you enjoyed this content. It was a bit of an experiment. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, so I'm going to assess the video stats, see how many views we get, if we get any likes, to see if I'll do this in the future. As you can see today, it's raining very heavy. This was a planned day out, but I don't think we're going to be going today by the looks of it, because this rain is set in. So stay safe, have a good new year, and I'll see you in 2023 for some less is more. I'll see you later.